The LiveWire Del Mar and the Fuelflow, two fantastic new electric motorcycles that have much in common. The main thing they have in common is this man, Eric Buell. Eric is the godfather of electric motorcycles. Now, what is not widely known is Vance Strader, who is the CTO at LiveWire, LiveWire Motorcycles, and Abe Ashkenazi is the CTO at Zero. Both these men worked for Eric Buell at the same time when Buell was operating under Harley-Davidson. So they were basically under Eric's tutelage. So both the current CTO at LiveWire and the current CTO at Zero were, I guess I'll call them students, or they reported to Eric Buell. So that's a fantastic thing. These guys worked together up until October 2009 when Harley-Davidson discontinued the Buell line of motorcycles, but they actually built 133,000 bikes. I think there were 26 different models that came out, but just fantastic work between those three. When Buell was shut down by Harley in 2009, Vance moved over to Harley-Davidson and started working on the Harley-Davidson motorcycles. The last one he worked on before he left was the Pan America. Abe went on to Zero in 2010 and is still there and is their CTO and doing Zero motorcycles. So Vance is 56 years old. Abe is 54 years old, and Eric is now 73 years old. So Eric's at Fuel, Abe is at Zero, and Vance is at LiveWire. But all three of these guys worked together for years and produced fantastic motorcycles, and still are. But it's very interesting that we have the three of them all involved in electric motorcycles, and of course. I won't get onto it any farther. You can research these guys and what's going on, but it's just incredible that these great motorcycle designers are pioneering electric motorcycles. So that's really cool. Now, before we get into the specifications of all of the bikes and how it all works, I want to talk about how you buy a Del Mar and how you buy a Fuelflow. So to review the Del Mar was announced on May 10th, 2022. They released at that time some limited specifications about torque and power and acceleration, etc. And they took $100 refundable reservation fees starting the day of announcement. There was a lot made because in 18 minutes they sold out their first 100 bikes, which are like a limited edition rollout bike. I was actually lucky enough to get one of those tickets, so I'm on the list to get one of the first 100 bikes. The final specifications of the Del Mar were released not that long ago, July 15th, 2023, and the specifications exceeded the original claims. And they've actually, just before they released the specifications on July 15th, they started doing demo rides. They would send semi-trucks around to different events and let people ride Del Mars. I was fortunate enough to ride one. It's an incredible bike. That's another video. But anyway, yesterday, LiveWire opened up a portal for myself and the other reservation holders where we go in, we log in, we make sure we have our proper address information in there. We can actually track our bike through manufacturing, quality check, and delivery, which we can either have to our house or to a LiveWire dealership. So that's pretty cool, and I signed up for that, and we're going along, and I'm hoping to have my Del Mar shortly. Now let's talk about how you buy a Fuelflow. Fuelflow was announced in 2019. Along with performance specifications for the bike, acceleration, charge times, range, all that was introduced in 2019. And then on July 26, 2023, Fuel began soliciting $5,000 or $5,495 deposits that you put down initially, and then you sign a contract to deliver to them $1,000 every other month for a year, so they get another $6,000. So within the first year, you've paid them out a little over $11,000 for the bike. The deliveries are scheduled to begin fourth quarter of 2024. So the idea is, just as you're done making your payments, that the bike will be available shortly after that. Now, there have been over the years several things going on with reservations. At one point, you could make a $200 reservation for a FUELFLOW and you could get like a free carbon helmet, and there's been other things going along. But on July 26, they changed the program where you can actually, pay for and buy the bike and get it delivered by the fourth quarter 2024. Now, when you go in and you fill out the form to sign up for the bike, there's a little box you check where you read the terms and conditions of what you're doing. So I pushed the button and I read what the terms and conditions are. And so what happens is we're talking about $5,495 down, $6,000 over 12 months. Okay, that's what we're talking about. When you push the button, one of the things that it says in the fine print is it says, quote, options, features, or hardware released after you place your order may not be included in or available for your flow. So that kind of tells me that, it's kind of, they're not really sure what you're going to get and what you're not going to get. And they're letting you know that it might not be included in your bike, whatever it is. Okay, so that's kind of a little red flag. So then I kept reading and I ran into this sentence. This sentence says, if you cancel your order after 14 days, you're only going to get 50% of your money back plus a order payment fee or order processing fee. So I guess that's the $5,400 you put down. If you leave it out there for 14 days or more, you're only going to get half of it back if you cancel. So before or after 14 days, but before 90 days, you're going to lose half your money. Now, I thought that was like pretty strong, but then I was wondering what happens if you cancel after 90 days, and they have that too. If you cancel your order after 90 days, or if you breach this agreement and we cancel your order, now breaching your agreement would probably be you're either miss or a late on some of your $1,000 payments over the next 12 months. But anyway, if you do that, then you agree that we may retain as liquidated damages the entire order payment. So they're going to keep everything. So the way it works is for 14 days, which would be this coming Sunday. So if you signed up on the first day, you have until this Sunday before you're going to lose half your money. If your money sits out there for 90 days, you're going to lose 100%. Okay, so that's kind of how that deal works. Now, if you think I'm joking or kidding, you can go check it out yourself. Okay, there's the link. All right, so that link will take you right to the page on the Fuel website where you can place your order for your bike. Now, this type of thing, these kinds of business practices are not new with Fuel. There's a lot of trickery going on with electric motorcycle startups all the time. This is an interesting thing. I don't know, you can research the story about it, but Saunders came out with their motorcycle, right? It's supposed to be sub $5,000 and 80 miles an hour, have all these specs, aluminum frame, etc. And the bike came out late, the bike came out much more expensive, and the bike came out with a lot fewer features and performance than what was promised. Okay, so that was an example recently of something that happens, but there's many more. There's this guy. This is the Lightning motorcycle. Many claims about production and this, and taking orders and prices and making claims and press releases and magazine tests. There's no motorcycle, and there will never be a production Lightning motorcycle. Okay, it's just not happening. And of course, everybody's always talking about this one. This is Damon, right? How many years has Damon been promising us a factory in Canada to build these bikes? Okay, it's not going to happen. Okay, there's going to be no Damon. There's going to be no Lightning. And the motorcycle came out, but it's not what they said it was. Okay, so the bottom line is there is no FUELFLOW and never will be. And when I say FUELFLOW, I'm talking about a production motorcycle that you can buy. And the reason is simple. It's that prototypes are easy, production is hard. That's a quote from Elon Musk. Anybody can go and put together an electric motorcycle prototype and ride it around and make claims. But actually putting it into production is very, very hard. So I could go on with a list. There's probably 4 or 5 other manufacturers that come to mind right away about making electric motorcycle prototypes and claims about what they're going to do and how they're going to ship and the range and the power and how good it is. But the bottom line is there's only one OEM who is making a big investment in electric motorcycles, and that's LiveWire. They're the only ones that are doing it in a serious way, and everybody else is kind of riding on their coattails trying to make money. The fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So you have to ask yourself, why did Fuel choose, July 26th of this year to start doing their campaign to raise money for crowdfunding? And the reason is that corresponds with a hype around, the first live wires going into production and shipping, etc. So this is just, all a giant joke and a fraud and a scam. Okay, this is when you're going to keep people's, deposits that they make. That's just not reasonable. It's not criminal, because I guess it's kind of been done before by other companies, but it's not reasonable. It's not a good way to do business, and certainly not a motorcycle you want to buy, and certainly no reason for you to hesitate to buy a live wire thinking that something better might be coming down the pike in a year. So I agree that Eric Buell is a legend. I think all that's true. When Harley Davidson shut down Buell in 2010, I vowed never to step in another Harley Davidson dealership as long as I live, and I didn't break that promise until 2019 when the LiveWire came out. But anyway, my point is that the LiveWire is real. The rest of this stuff is just people riding on LiveWire's coattail. Have a nice evening.